Alright, so I was having a conversation with one of my friends named Edward, and I'm going to send this to him after I'm done, because me and him were also talking about this a while ago, and he wanted me to make a video kind of explaining like why Pokemon was like really like more of a successful franchise, or it's probably even more than that, because why did it become so successful? Not just the nostalgia. It's essentially like saying what really builds a legendary series, meaning like, a game that really doesn't have too many flaws in it, and it becomes so overrated that it becomes so profitable, but it's so good at the same time though, so it's not like a bad overrated, you know what I mean? So, for example, to understand Pokemon, you really gotta understand that, it's a series that really kind of makes a lot of sense. You go on an adventure, you explore inhabitants, and essentially kind of, there's a lot of real-world elements that are involved. Like, for example, like, we're humans, we live on Earth. Okay, so, like, we could go exploring. Like, you could ask a scientist, like, all the animals that they find, all the species of fish, or all the different plants that a biologist studies, and, just all your surroundings. You learn something new every day. You meet new people, you meet new areas, you find new stuff. It's just really cool, just exploring what you find. And Pokemon was like the same thing. It took a game, and it was about collecting stuff. It gave you all this different customization and all that. You never had to play the game in the same order. I mean, certain areas you couldn't access without certain HMs, hence the term HM slaves. But but it really became like a series that really just kind of stuck for the years, because a lot of people like just really, I mean, if you think about it, that's what really a game is. It's giving somebody something that's fun, something very memorable, something easy to pick up and play, and yet to the point where, I mean, sure, the games get easier and easier, but when you think about it though, I mean, it's a series that really kind of keeps people's interest, because there's just so much still going for it. Like, for example, Game Freak could make a game where, like, maybe there's 1,000-something Pokemon. I mean, okay, maybe some people might not like some of the newer designs, but the fact is, though, you give them different abilities, you give them different attacks, and combine that with, like, 6 different Pokemon that they could be, and you got rotation battles, 3-on-3. I mean, it's crazy. You never really, it's definitely worth the money. It really is when you think about it, because there's so much effort that went into it. Even if they don't try nearly as much now, but if you think about it, I mean, for a company that made like billions of dollars off card games and anime, accessories and all this other cool stuff, it really was something, because, like, take for example the story, not just, going collecting 8 badges of being the best in the region, but like, you learn about like the legendaries, and they all have like these purposes. Or you can take like someone like Proto Mario, for example, like where he does all these video game theories and all that about like the Pokemon universe. Huge shout out to Proto Mario, by the way, if you've never seen him. But he's a guy that, if it's anything I've learned, it's that, there's people that love the series so much that hell, even the Gamer from Mars, where he did his Lavender Town syndrome, but like the Pokemon and all that, and like some of his other interesting Pokemon theories. But it's like, you look at all these video games, and like, all the things that went into it, the Mew glitch that someone eventually found and leaked on the internet when that became what it was, and people were just flooding that video with views when they figured that out. You could catch any Pokemon in Pokemon Gen 1 with that special glitch. And it was like, it was just a lot of interaction there. Like, people are still learning things about these games that they grew up with. It's an Asian fantasy that really, it's well done. It wasn't just an average, underrated game. No, it was so big that there's a reason why so many people love it, and so many people still. It's like the Ocarina of Time of the Legend of Zelda series. You look at, there's a reason why a lot of people love it, because it was something that worked. And I mean, all the Zelda games are good, except for the CDI ones, of course, but it's funny, though, that, because, you think about all these games, though, and they all have, like, a meaning, because, to make a really good game, you have to really try hard. You have to have really creative, and then you gotta have, like, some marketing strategy behind it. And that's exactly what we got out of it. People argue that the best thing about the Pokemon games is, like, how many there are to catch and the different inhabitants, and you gotta really get clever with some of them, because they're not really, like, certain Pokemon are only in, like, certain areas, and heck, you can only catch, like, certain, like, for example, you can only catch the Kanto Pokemon in the Kanto region, but some of them make the exception where they migrated over to the Johto region, or vice versa. And so it gets really difficult trying to catch some of these Pokemon because you have to really know where they're at. And of course you can look it up online, you know, which versions have what Pokemon exclusively, and then the legendaries are really hard to catch without Master Balls. But, you know, it's a fun challenge though. You know, it gives you something to do, and you really look back and it's like, no matter how many times you play it, you really love it. So really in the end, it is a video game because it entertains you. It's worth your money because it's fun. And it's something to talk about with a lot of people because a lot of people have played it. So really, if you think about it, it will always be a successful franchise, and that's why it became a billion-dollar industry. You know, it got a lot of people excited. And games like that, if people would just put quality first over quantity, you'd be surprised we'd have more games like that in their own way.